This is Arif Halaby on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. Hey, welcome back to the show, Total Financial Solutions, Save for Money Hour. Look, Arif Halaby and Jeff Girard. All right, what is the very first place I want you to save? I don't care where you're going to put your money. The first place needs to be into a savings account. You can do it, in a credit union or a bank. I don't care about that at this point. But I do need you to have what's called liquid money. It's emergency money. You can get your hands on it, with a debit card or an ATM or go to the bank. Something that is there right now, you need it. And really the numbers are somewhere around 6 months worth of your expenses. So I don't mean the eating out. I mean food, shelter, clothing, insurance payments, electric bill. What does it take for you to live? So that actually assumes that you know what that number is. So the first thing you need to do is that budget. What does it take to live? You can round up, you can round down, I don't care, but you need to know at least what ballpark you're in, right? What stadium? Because look at the size of Dodger Stadium. That's pretty big. As long as you're somewhere in that stadium, that's okay. I don't want you to think, the number is over, and you're sitting over here at Venice Beach. And you're, I ballparked it. No, you didn't. You jet planed it. It's a little different, like a lot, like not even the same. Okay, so let's ballpark it and figure out how much do I need to live each month? And then you take 6 times that, and that's what I want you to save. It may take you 3 years to build that account. I don't care. But that is the very first place to go. That will prevent you from going into credit card debt. It will give you some peace of mind. And Jeff, how many times have you and I gone up and down in struggles in our lives? And those dollars that we had there for emergencies or to float us through, we just... You act a little different when you know that you have, I don't know, whatever number, 5,000 or 10,000 sitting in your savings account, because it just gives you a little breathing room.
That's right. And there's some people call it a false zero, if you will. I learned this a while back from my mom, and I was just sharing the story recently with my brother, and I said, it's funny that Mom always seemed like she had it together. Single mom, police officer, just trying to do her best, and always did her best. And I remember having this conversation early on and asking her, hey, Mom, how much money do we have? And I think what triggered me was my kids asked me, hey, Dad, how much money do we have? So we had that conversation. And so thinking about that, my mom always said, oh, son, well, I'm never completely broke. We may have some money in the bank, but I don't touch that because that's our emergency money. I thought, wow, that's interesting. So we're not broke. So what you're saying is we can go get new shoes or go to Disneyland. And she said no. But it's a really different feeling because what you have is that buffer between being absolute dead broke and I can survive a month or a couple weeks if I had to. And then what you do is you build that over time. And like Arif said, hit it on the head. You do this systematically. It doesn't have to happen overnight. You don't have to go without eating for the first month so you can put $3,000 or $4,000 in the bank. You do this over time. It builds what we talked about earlier in the show is those financial characteristics, those habits, which are the most important even before the money even hits your account. Is to have that habit happening every month. And
it gives you a nice ability to take chance and risk, appropriate chance and risk in your life. That new job, move down the street to a better apartment or a home, or you need to buy a new car. It's time. The car broke down. Or, it's been 5 or 10 or 20 years and it's just time for a new car. You need to be able to do those things and not skip a beat financially. Because in order for you to earn a living, you have to go to work. In order for you to earn a living, you have to eat dinner and you have to have a nice night's rest, right? Those things we don't even think about. All right, 6 months worth of your expenses. Now, if you have 2 or 3 months, right, whatever that number is, and you want to now start saving for retirement, I'm okay with that. And the very first place you go is your company retirement account, your company 401k account. And that 401k account should have a matching program. If it doesn't, then I don't want you to go there first, right? Which means is if you put in $100, maybe they put in 50, or if you put in 200, maybe they put in 100. So I want some sort of a matching account there. What that does in turn is that gives you free money. Whatever their dollars are for matching, you are putting that together. So if they give you, for example, we match 50% of the first 6%. That's a common number. That means if you put in 6% of your income, okay, that's $600 for every 10,000. So if you earn 10,000, you put in 600, they will put in 300. That's the minimum amount I want you to put in. Whatever you get all the free money. Check with your HR director. Send me an email. I don't care. I'll go through the numbers with you, and I need you to find that number because that is free money. Your employer wants to give it to you. They have budgeted for it. It's gone already. It's whether or not you're going to catch it. Those dollars now go into your retirement account, and hopefully they earn interest and it grows. That's the first place. Then what do you do next?
Well, you're going to start looking at some accounts outside of your employer savings plan or that 401k, and it's called an IRA, which stands for Individual Retirement Account. It's very, very easy to do. You can do it at a bank. You can do it with somebody like us. It's just a couple pieces of paper, and you make a deposit. It's pretty simple. So there are two different kinds of IRAs, and it didn't used to be this way. So now when we say IRA, we have to clarify traditional or Roth, and Eric's going to cover that real quick for you.
Well, just think of it, Jeff. In the world of Roth IRA, a Roth just means when you go to work, you earn $50,000. You still pay tax on 50, but you take money and you set it aside. If you are 50 years old and older, that number is $6,500. That's the most you're allowed to put in. It's silly, but I don't know why they shouldn't even have a number on it. But it seems like their goal is to kind of keep a governor or a resistance level and kind of hold you back just enough so that financially don't think you're going to get wealthier too much now more than the guy down the street. But that's what it is, $6,500. And they kind of, and you can put that anywhere, like Jeff was saying. But then there is a traditional IRA. And most people, I want you to not do the traditional IRA. I want you to look at a Roth IRA, and here's why.
Well, you're already saving. Let's assume with the example here, you're already saving in your employer-sponsored plan, that 401k. You're deferring the tax on that money. And the chances are you're putting a greater amount of money in that 401k because the limits are much higher and most people strive to save more on taxes and not take that income because they'll pay tax on it today. So the money you're putting away in your 401k will be taxed later. That's a big bubble that you have to help pay the government's, pension plan. I'm sorry.
That's right.
My little stab there. But listen, that money, you haven't paid tax on it yet. So when you're in retirement, it's subject to whatever tax rules are then. I suggest, and we suggest, that you find a vehicle now like a Roth IRA where you've already paid the taxes. You know what the taxes are today. Whatever your rate is, that's what you're paying today. So in the future, you can pull it out, qualified distributions, and we'll get to that another time. But as long as you do it right, those are tax-free. And so what you do now is you have a mixture of different taxable money and non-taxable money, and that really helps out when we're talking about some of the retirement strategies out there because believe it or not, after your health care, taxes will be one of the top things you pay for in retirement. So it's a really healthy way to start now while you're still working and you can afford it. Put something in put some money in an after-tax account like a Roth IRA. It's a beautiful thing, and you have that nice mixture with the 401k.
And think of it this way. As Jeff was saying, you put those dollars aside. Later on in life, you're going to pay income tax on the 401k money, but you no longer have a house mortgage. Hopefully it's paid down, or at least most of it is, which means the tax-deductible portion of your house mortgage is the interest. And that is usually wiped out by the first 10 or 15 years of any real significant impact. So if you're past 10 or 15 years in a 30-year mortgage, the tax benefits to owning a home are almost not there. And today, with interest rates being so low, you're going to have even less of a tax benefit with owning a home and mortgaging it. Now, that means you have a lower house payment too, which is better, but just know that from a tax benefit standpoint, there just really isn't that many. The second thing is you're going to get write-offs for your children, your little tax write-offs running around, beautiful, wonderful. And when they're gone, which should be the case when you retire, we hope, at least from the IRS standpoint, they're done. You don't get to write them off anymore. They're off your books. They're gone. Now, I'm not talking about the Obamacare plan. That gives you until age 26. You can keep your little children on your plan.
Oh, those little babies.
As if they're babies at 26. Incredible. You don't get to write them off on your taxes, but, they're on your insurance. Amazing. So that's the difference. Later on in life, your Roth IRA, when you have no more tax deductions, that's wonderful. You get all the tax-free money. It's much better for you. When we come back, we'll continue with that and a lot more. What are some of the options when it comes to some of these plans? And how do you do it when we get back from this break? I'm Arif Halaby along with Jeff Girard and Total Financial Solutions Save for Money Hour. We'll be right back. Hey, welcome back to the show, Total Financial Solutions Save for Money Hour. Arif Halaby and Jeff Girard. As we finish this hour of the program, I want you to think of a couple of things. In the world of retirement, it's about living the way that you want to live. A lot of people will say, I'm not going to save for a day that may never come and I don't really care. Okay. You don't have to, but keep this in mind. You don't want to be that same person who's going to complain, at age 65 that your Social Security is, $810 a month, right? Because along with not working that hard and who cares about the rainy day and all of that, well, then when you become 65 years old and your Social Security is the only thing you have, and God forbid you have children or a spouse and now you expect them to try to live on your money, right? So it's not always about you. Take care of your kids, give them a great start. I think today, the biggest blessing you can give the next generation is 0 student loans. That, in my opinion, is the greatest gift. Because what I have seen now with my late 20s and 30s and even some 40-year-old clients is the 6 figures in student loans. Even when people think, it's only $46,000 in student loan debt. Do you know how long it takes to pay off $46,000? Unless you think, because it's not 46. There's interest on it every year. And then you have to actually earn money, pay taxes on it. What you get left is what you pay, right? So if you have $46,000 in student loan debt and you're at a 30% tax bracket, it's kind of like $70,000. You go to work, you earn 70, you give 26,000 to the government, you have 40 something left, and that's what, wait. Didn't you need to eat that year? Drive a car? Folks, the greatest curse you can ever give your children is forcing them to take student loans and thinking that you're doing them a favor. You do not. They lose opportunity for job because they have to take a job that pays more money. So they can't take the one that might make them wealthier or a better person, or it's the career field they've chosen. Right? You really lock your kids into this world. And I'm not saying we force them to, because in today's world, everything is available. There's no information that is kept by us and not by you or anything.
Well, you don't have to force. Look at the amount of encouragement that we give everyone. Look at all the free money that's out there. Look what college education will help you do. You'll earn $1 million more. Or you could earn, with a little asterisk, you could earn $1 million more of your lifetime. Fantastic. But what about the waiting period? Sometimes, like Eric's talking about, you get out of college, you don't get that $100,000 a year job right out the gate. It may take you 3, 4, 5, even 6 years until you start realizing the earning potential. So I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Just know this doesn't happen overnight. It's just not going to happen.
It's incredible to me when people believe that by giving free tuition to community college, that is a good idea. Do you have any idea why four-year university is so expensive? Look, just talk to a financial guy or a gal. Just look at somebody without any emotion involved and understand, if you provide free education to the community college level, for example, this is a big thing going around lately, the cost for a four-year university is going to skyrocket even greater. We have had a 10 times increase in the last 20 years, 10 times increase in tuition. That's huge. That means what used to cost $10,000 costs $100,000. Okay? Now, I can promise you that in the last 20 years, wages have not gone up like that. No way, no how. That's as if you earned a 7% increase in pay every single year. And I know you didn't, because I didn't. Right? It just didn't happen. Maybe you have a 2% or a 3%, and that's not factoring in inflation. So realize that if you're going to give something free, the cost goes up. Look how amazing it was, right? Solar energy. Years ago, I was going to get solar panels, solar. Oh, isn't it funny? The state of California gave, and I'm going to be random about the numbers, but let's say the cost was $15,000 for something, and the state of California is going to give you a $5,000 thing. Well, I had the guy come over. I thought, I can do it now. The math works. Mm-hmm. And they said, now the cost is $20,000. I'm like, whoa, wait a second. It was 15. I thought if I got a rebate of 5, it would. No, the cost is now. So what are you doing? Oh, we're just taking the rebate. So it's still going to cost me 15. So understand, the more free stuff given, there is no such thing, people. I get the emotional and it feels good and you want to do it and da-da-da. But if you have somebody go to work, or they have to work mowing the lawn at the community college or picking up trash, they're going to take a job from somebody else. You have to be okay with that. But if you can be paid $80,000, $75,000, $80,000, $85,000 a year to be a secretary, at a state community college to be an assistant, not a certificated educator. Do you understand? There isn't money. There just isn't. When you pay the head of an institution $30,000 a month, $1,000, 7 days a week, every single day. That's a lot of money. I'm not saying worth it or not, but just understand what it is. And now you want to give free stuff out. Folks, don't let your kids bait into this because there is no money. I get it. We want it. Oh, education. Try ignorance. That's more expensive. Try getting a job. Try working hard. Try creating a business. Try collecting cans, picking up trash on the freeway. There's a million things you can do. I used to pick up trash for 2 years. That's what I did on the weekends. That was one of my jobs. After company picnics over at Simon's Ranch. Some of you will know where that is, right? It's now the MB2 and Cascades area. Used to be a company picnic thing back there. I was a lifeguard at the pool. Then I picked up the trash after the picnics, after the companies left on a Saturday and a Sunday. There are things you can do. Nobody is too proud. I've never been, but working is different. And you have to save money for you and your family. If you don't, there will not be any government benefits. If you're going to give everything free at the beginning, there will be nothing left at the end. There just isn't. It's not a left, right, up, down, mean, ugly, happy, sad. There just isn't the numbers. So maybe we'll ever get to there, maybe not. Maybe we'll be a group that is just loving and happy, and we want to give to everybody as we go down the tubes and we lose the nation. We are $18 trillion in debt. I don't care who you blame. It doesn't really matter to me. But 6 years ago when this president came into office, we were about $6 trillion in debt. A lot of money, no joke. We have a lot of money that has to be paid back. Protect your kids. Don't let them have the student loan debt. Then they can save for retirement, and then they're off your back. We come back, I'll give you some options, some ways, even some strategies when we come back on Total Financial Solutions Save for Money Hour. Arif, Halaby, and Jeff Girard. Hey, welcome back to the show. Total Financial Solutions Save for Money Hour. Making friends, kissing babies,
shaking hands.
That's what Total Financial Solutions is all about. Look, it's about the numbers. Do you realize that when you save for your retirement, when it's your money and it's your future, it's different, isn't it? I mean, it's different when somebody gives you something for free. How many of you have driven a rental car? Right? You might drive a little faster. You might take a turn a little sharper. It's different than if it was a brand new car that you've worked and saved for 6 months on the weekends, overtime shift, and here's the keys to that car. Look, I had a 1976 Chevy Love that was at the time 10 years old because I got it in like 85 or 86. And it was, bubbly paint. It wasn't, the nicest quality paint of anything. Little rust that they painted over, we got it. And man, I waxed that thing every weekend. I vacuumed it. It never even had headrests. It just had a bench seat with the glass behind your head. You could smack that pretty easily. And I took care of that thing and put Armor All on the tires and the dashboard. And because it was mine and I had worked very hard for it. My dad helped me buy it, but the only thing that it was maintaining was me. My multiple jobs, and it's how I got to school and got to college and back and forth to my 2 jobs. And so there's a difference when somebody hands you something versus you working for it. You know that. Why do I have to, why is it that it's even a discussion in our society that we shouldn't keep giving people free stuff? And it's because you feel bad, guilty, or upset that you're going to transfer that emotion to this dollar bill as it floats through the air and lands on them, and therefore transfer all of that appreciation and gratitude to that person. I'm not saying there aren't some people that are gracious, not at all. And I'm not saying there aren't some people that are deserving, of course. But you don't show somebody that they're deserving by giving them something and not expecting something in return. Oh, good grades. What is that? Some random thing? Good grades? What does that mean? I want a good person. I want a character, right? I gave away a scholarship. My wife and I gave away a scholarship years ago. And it was the Halaby Family Scholarship Fund. And look, when it's your money, you can do with it as you choose. I didn't represent any big company, Coca-Cola or IBM. No. It was my money that I had worked for, and it was for a stranger's kid to go to college. I've given away a lot of money for somebody else's kids to go to college, so don't think that I'm anti-school. Not at all. But I'm anti-school if you think it has anything to do with wealth, health, happiness, success, or financial well-being. It doesn't. It's very, very little, if any. So my scholarship said you had to get at least a C average. You had to, no tattoos, no body piercings during the scholarship period. That's my thing. You can do with it as you want. I get it. There's controversy. Whatever. No, you can't use drugs. You can't drink alcohol, because remember, you're 18 years old. You shouldn't be drinking alcohol. Can't be arrested. You can't be pregnant or get somebody pregnant unless you're married first. Now, why did I bring those up? Because to me, if you can have that kind of person at that age, I'm not talking about somebody who wants to get a tattoo when they're 25. I don't care. That's your business, man. Who cares? But the decisions that we make when we're 18 years old in 10 minutes affect us the rest of our life, just like we did them when we were 55. And if I wanted to give my $1,000, and it was a renewable scholarship, every year they could come back, they'd sign an affidavit that says, I abided by the Halaby family scholarship rules. I didn't ask them which ones they violated when they couldn't sign it. And sometimes kids said, I did it for 2 years and I can't anymore. I don't want to know which ones they violated. I don't care. I expect ethics and morals with it. And they would sign it, and we'd give them another $1,000. And every year for 4 years, one for a boy and one for a girl. And we did that for many years, and thousands, tens of thousands of dollars went out in various scholarship forms to various schools. And I share that with you because I want you to know that the key for your wealth and success, some of it is that. But it isn't just existing. It's about doing. Every day, the kids had to know that if they were going to take a drink, that's fine. If they were going to do it at 20 years old or 19 years old, that was going to cost them $1,000. Or they were going to have to be dishonest, and they sold their integrity for $1,000. I don't care. It's their life, not mine. I budgeted for $1,000 to go out the door. That lack of integrity haunts them the rest of their life. It's gone from me in 5 minutes. So for you, it has to be something that you teach your children. And open up a retirement account. Make it mandatory from the word go. And we think half is the right thing. You take half and save it, half and spend it.
That's right, because the first thing kids want to do, I say kids, I don't care if you're 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, you want to spend your money. You earned it, you deserve it, you're entitled to spend it. But again, it's about the habits. And I remember, I think you shared this with me, If you'd let your kids work, do their thing, make some money, and they had to save half. And when they saved half, then they could spend the other or do what they want with it. And that's a wonderful foundation. Now you can take that half of savings and you can call some of it retirement, some of it emergency, some of it rainy day or investment fund. You can do any of that you want. But the saving part of it's the thing that matters. And I think that's a big deal. And to learn that early on is so amazing because we'll value the dollar much more because we earned it. And it's so much more rewarding when you get to go spend it on something that means something to you.
And Jeff, you've had to work at probably, I don't know, it sounds like for a very long time.
Since I was 15.
Okay.
Yeah.
There was a difference when you had a $20 bill in your hand and it was something that you earned. And you've seen it with your kids. I know I have with mine. When they go, hey, Daddy, let's go do this. Okay, great. Well, bring the money that you want to spend. Oh, well, I guess I don't really want that stuffed animal as much as I thought I did.
That's right.
When I'm using my own money.
That's right. And, there was some things that my mom did I thought that were very important. We went to private school, and most of the money that she earned that went towards us was invested in our education. And we received a really nice education. It was really good. It was a good foundation for us. We wore uniforms, but we got that one nice pair of shoes. We didn't just have a bunch of random stuff, but we really appreciated it. At the beginning of the year, we'd go school shopping or, in August or so, and we'd get that one nice pair of shoes. And that meant something to us. We kept that nice the whole year. And I just explained this to my son the other day who had a hole in his shoe, and I about took it off and hit him over the head with it because I said, son, you have 3 pairs of shoes in your closet. Why would you wear that one? He couldn't walk in the grass, and it was hilarious after the fact, but I was, so angry with him at first because he didn't put it together, but he had to go through that like I did. But we had shoes that we could mess around and horse around and get dirty, and then that one pair of shoes was really significant to us, and I cleaned them, and they were nice for school because that's how we kind of expressed ourselves. Other kids can wear, crazy clothes or, dye their hair, whatever. Catholic school was like military a little bit. So and I share all that with you because there was an enormous amount of value. I didn't buy those shoes, but my mom did, and I knew that it took her 3 shifts to pay for that one pair of shoes. So that transferred over later. When I started working, I knew that when I let go of $1, it wasn't my mom paying for it, it was me. And that meant my time, and that was the most valuable thing to me as a kid. And
we look at, I would get those pair of shoes and we'd clean them, I'd wash them out.
Yep.
And my mom had wore glasses and had bad vision without the glasses her whole life, at least as long as I know. And I remember she would sleep in on a Sunday morning or Saturday morning, and I'd go, I'm going to go outside and play. And I had a new shirt. I don't know what kind of shirt it was, but a polo or something. But I wanted to go play in my new shirt because it just happened to be one that I grabbed. And you would stand back just far enough, and she couldn't really see you, but she'd kind of know that it was you because, she'd hear your voice, and she was, hey, Mom, hey, Mom, I'm going to go outside and play. Is that okay? Yeah, sure, but change your shirt. You shouldn't be wearing your new shirt outside. How do you know that? You couldn't see anything. But, of course, parents know. And those things that they work for, that you work for, it's a good idea. Save for retirement. If your kids have a job, that's a legitimate job in the sense that there's reporting, 1099 or W-2, whether it's delivering pizza or they work at the coffee shop or fast food restaurant or whatever, and it's reported, then encourage them to take half of that and set that aside in a retirement account. If you do that for just 10 years, from age 18 to 28 or 15 to 25, and you put in $4,000 or $5,000 a year, that's a lot of money, but you can match it, you can put it in there. If you do that, by the time they're 65 years old, they could have worked at any job they wanted, and you could have nearly $1 million in that account. Those are important numbers. When we come back at the top of the hour after CNN News, we're going to continue with some ideas on IRAs and retirement and get some of the basics down, because the basics don't just begin with an account. Remember, it begins with thinking. So what are some of the ways to think differently so that you can have what you deserve, and you and your family? It's not about having $1 million or 10 million or 20 million. Those numbers are very random. But how do you get to the place where it is your money, so when you retire, you live the lifestyle that you want wherever you want, whether it's here in California or in another state or, frankly, in another country these days. People do it. Thanks for listening. I'm Arif Halaby with Jeff Girard. We're going to continue after the top of the hour's news on AM 1220 KHTS.